Hello and welcome everyone to yet another tech enthusiastic video from Edureka. Today we will be learning about Apache Pig. So before we get started, please subscribe to Edureka's YouTube channel and hit the bell icon to never miss an update on the trending IT technologies in the current year. Also, if you're looking for an online certification in Hadoop, then I have dropped down the link in the description box below. I hope you check it. So without wasting much time, let's quickly begin with our agenda for today's discussion. First, we will understand what exactly is Apache Pig. Followed by that, we shall learn the different modes in which Apache Pig will function. And followed by the Apache Pig modes, we will understand the important features of Apache Pig. Later, we shall understand how to install Apache Pig into our local systems. Then we will understand Apache Pig Architecture. Moving ahead, we shall understand Apache Pig Advantages and the difference between Apache Pig and Apache MapReduce. To understand Apache Pig in a much better way, we shall also go through a simple Apache Pig demo. Now let's move ahead and start up with our first concept. So the first one is, what is Apache Pig? So Apache Pig is an abstraction over MapReduce. It is a tool or platform which is used to analyze larger sets of data, representing them as data flows. Pig is generally used with Hadoop. We can perform all the data manipulation operations in Hadoop using Apache Pig. To write data analysis programs, Pig provides a high-level language known as Pig Latin. This language provides various operators using which programmers can develop their own functions for reading, writing, and processing data. To analyze data using Apache Pig, programmers need to write scripts using Pig Latin language. All these scripts are internally converted into map and reduce tasks respectively. Apache Pig has a component called Apache Pig Engine that accepts the Pig Latin scripts as input and converts those particular scripts into MapReduce jobs. So this was the basic introduction to Apache Pig. Now moving ahead, we shall understand the different modes in which Apache Pig functions. There are two particular modes in which Apache Pig functions. Those are the local mode and MapReduce mode. First, we will understand what exactly is local mode. In local mode, Apache Pig is designed to execute in a single JVM and is used for development, experimenting, and prototyping. Here, files are installed and run using localhost. The local mode works on local file system, and the input and the output data is stored in the local file system. To access the command or the grunt shell in local mode, you need to execute a command called pig-x local. We shall practically execute this in the demo section. Now moving ahead, we shall discuss about the second type of mode in which Apache Pig can be run. That is the MapReduce mode. The MapReduce mode is also known as Hadoop mode. Apache Pig chooses Hadoop mode as its default mode. In this, Pig renders Pig Latin into MapReduce jobs and executes them on a Hadoop cluster. It can be executed against semi-distributed or fully distributed Hadoop installation. Here, the input and the output are present on HDFS. The command for executing Pig in MapReduce mode is pig or pig-x MapReduce. Again, we shall discuss about this particular command in our demo section, where I'll show you both the modes and execute the Pig scripts there. Now, followed by the Pig modes, we shall understand the ways to execute Pig program. So basically, the Pig scripts are executed in three particular modes. Those are interactive mode, batch mode, and lastly, the embedded mode. Don't worry, I'll explain to you each of these modes. Firstly, we shall discuss about the interactive mode. In this particular mode, the Pig is executed in a grunt shell. To invoke grunt shell, run the pig command. Once the grunt mode executes, we can provide Pig Latin statements and command interactively at the command line itself. So the next mode is the batch mode. In this particular mode, we can run a script file having a .pig extension. These files contain the Pig Latin commands. So basically what we do is we write the pig command or the pig script and store it in a location. And using the terminal, we will access that particular location and that particular file and run the code present in that file. So this is what happens in batch mode. So followed by that, the last mode is the embedded mode. In this particular mode, we can define our own functions. These functions can be called as user-defined functions. Here, we use programming languages like Java and Python to define our own user-defined functions. So these were the three different modes in which we can execute Pig scripts. Now moving ahead, we shall enter into our next topic, that is the features of Pig. So there are 5 different and important features of Pig. So first up, we shall understand the ease of programming. Writing complex Java programs for MapReduce is quite tough for non-programmers. Pig makes this process very easy. In the Pig, the queries are converted into MapReduce processes internally. So obviously, it has grown the ease of programming. Followed by that, the next important feature is the optimization opportunities. So what exactly is optimization? It is how the tasks are encoded permits the system to optimize the execution automatically, allowing the user to focus on semantics rather than efficiency. So followed by the optimization, we have the extensibility. A user-defined function is written in which the user can write their logic to execute over the datasets. So this increases the extensibility of the programmer. Followed by that, the next important feature is it is highly flexible. Apache Pig can easily handle structured as well as unstructured data. So Apache Pig tool is considered to be highly flexible, irrelevant of the data type. Followed by that, the last and important feature is inbuilt operators. Apache Pig contains various types of operators such as sort, filter, joins, and many more, which are inbuilt. So here, the programmer doesn't have to program these functions externally. Instead, he can just directly get an access to those inbuilt functions and execute them. So these were the 5 important features of Apache Pig. So the next topic in our today's discussion is Apache Pig installation into our local system. Now we shall discuss about one of the easiest ways to install Apache Pig into our local system. So today I'll explain you how to install Apache Pig into Windows operating system. So to do this, the easiest way is to download one of the virtual machines. So I would prefer you to download Oracle VirtualBox for this particular task. Followed by that, we shall also download a quick start VM of Cloudera. Don't worry about these softwares, I'll drop down the link for those softwares in the description box below. You can use that and download them. So once after the Oracle VirtualBox is installed into a local system and it is running, this is how it looks like. Now what we want to do is to add a new virtual machine into our VirtualBox. So for that you just need to select import option and it will give you a new dialog box, and from here you must redirect to the location where your VirtualBox is located. So in my system, it's located in F drive, and inside F drive CCA, Cloudera VirtualBox Cloudera Quick Start VM. So there you go. Now you just have to select open. And before we actually select the button import, you might want to select the RAM and increase its size to at least 8 GB. So I'll just write in 9000 MB, which is just a little above 8 GB. Now we are good to go. Just select the option import and your VirtualBox will be imported. You can see that the quick start VM is getting imported. Now you can see that the virtual machine got successfully imported. Now to start it, all you need to do is just click on it and then select the start button. So you can see that the Cloudera Quick Start VM version 5.13.0 has been successfully imported and booted up. Here we are. We have the Quick Start Cloudera VM welcome note. And now if you want to start up with Pig Editor, you might want to log into Hue first or your HDFS. Remember, in Cloudera, the default username is Cloudera and the password also is Cloudera. Now let me tell you, in Cloudera, The default username and password for everything is Cloudera. For example, let's log into our queue using the username Cloudera and password Cloudera. Now you might want to just select remember to remember your password. And there you go, you have successfully logged into Hue. And now, if you want your query editor for Pig, you can just select the bottom arrow mark, and there you can select editor, and inside editor you have the editor designed for Pig. Now you are in the window where you can write Pig scripts and execute them. Now we will move ahead into our next topic, and after finishing the theory part, we shall come back into our Cloudera and execute some of the basic operations on Pig terminal. So our next concept is understanding the Pig architecture. So first of all, let us go through the diagram of Pig architecture. The following diagram represents the architecture of Apache Pig. As shown in the figure, there are various components in Apache Pig framework. Let us look at the major components. Firstly, the parser. Initially, the Pig scripts are handled by the parser. It checks the syntax of the script, does type checking and other miscellaneous checks. The output of the parser will be a DAG, which is directed acyclic graph, which represents the Pig Latin statements and logical operators. In directed acyclic graphs, the logical operators of the scripts are represented as the nodes and data flows are represented as edges. And next, the optimizer. The logical plan for directed acyclic graphs is passed to the logical optimizer. This carries out the logical optimizations such as projections and pushdowns. Next comes the compiler. The compiler is used to compile the optimized logical plan into the series of MapReduce jobs. Followed by that, we have the execution engine. Finally, the MapReduce jobs are submitted to the Hadoop in a sorted order. Finally, these MapReduce jobs are executed on Hadoop, producing the desired results. So this was a basic explanation based on Apache Pig architecture. Now moving ahead, we shall understand the major advantages of Apache Pig. So some of the major advantages of Apache Pig are less code. The Pig consumes less than a line of code to perform any operation. So this reduces the number of lines included in the code. Followed by that, code reusability. The Pig code is so flexible enough to reuse it again. You can basically write the Pig script into a file and access the file whenever you need it. So followed by that, the next important advantage of Apache Pig is the nested data types. The Pig provides a useful concept of nesting data types like tuple, bag, and map. So these were the few important advantages of Apache Pig. Now we shall move ahead into the next topic, which is about the differences between Apache Pig and Apache MapReduce. So there are basically four differences between Apache Pig and Apache MapReduce. So first up, we will begin with MapReduce. In MapReduce, we have low-level data processing. When it comes to Apache Pig, it is considered as a high-level data processing tool. Followed by that, the next important difference between MapReduce and Apache Pig is that we find complex Java programs when we are using MapReduce. But when we come into Apache Pig, we have simple programming scripts, which are shorter in code length and easily understandable. Followed by that, the third difference is the data operations are completely tough and complicated in MapReduce. But in Apache Pig, you don't have to worry about those operations because they're already built in. Next, and the last difference between MapReduce and Apache Pig is Apache MapReduce does not allow nested data types, whereas Apache Pig allows nested data types. So these were the basic differences between Apache MapReduce and Apache Pig. So the next topic is the Pig demo. Here, we will understand all the basic commands in Apache Pig and the basic functionalities which are available in Pig. Now, without further ado, Let's quickly begin with our demo for today's session. Now we have come back to our cloud era that we have installed into our local system. Now let's start Pig. As we have discussed before, Apache Pig can be executed in two modes. They are the local mode and the MapReduce mode. Firstly, we shall execute an example based on local mode. To start Pig in local mode, we need to type in the command pig space -x space local. Firing this command will enable Pig in local mode. As you can see, the command is getting decrypted. Now you can see that it has successfully started the grunt shell in local mode. Now what are we going to execute? We are going to execute a very simple word count program. For this particular word count example, I have considered a basic text, that is the definition of Apache Pig, which happens to be Apache Pig is a high-level platform for creating programs that run on Apache Hadoop. The language for this particular platform is called Pig Latin. Pig can execute its Hadoop jobs in MapReduce, Apache Test, and Apache Spark. So we will consider this particular paragraph, and we will also count the number of words which are included in this particular paragraph. Now let's quickly go back to our terminal and execute our program. So now we have come back to our terminal. Let's clear it using the command Ctrl+L. Now let's quickly start up typing our commands. So as discussed before, we are going to execute this particular program in local mode. So here we are not loading the data into HDFS. Instead, we are considering the local location, which is the local location that is home Cloudera desktop word count. Now we're going to run this command and see the output. So the data has successfully loaded. Now we'll execute the next command. So now we're going to tokenize each and every single word in this particular paragraph, and we'll be considering each and every word as a single word, and we are going to separate each and every word by using a space. Now let's fire up this command and see the output. Yeah, the command just got executed, or the script just got executed. Now in the next script, we are going to group the words according to their occurrence. Yeah, even that is done. Now the next script would help us to count the number of words which have been repeated. So even that is done. Now the last script would be dumping the output which is stored in p word c, which is pig word count. Now let's enter the command and see the output. You can see some MapReduce jobs that are getting executed, and there you go. We have our output. So the words are a, n, on, for, its, days, Hadoop, Apache, and all those words. And along with them, we also have the number of repetitions of each and every word. For example, we have Hadoop, which is repeated 1 time, and the word Apache is repeated for 4 times, and so on. So with this, now let us move ahead and execute some examples based on Apache's Hadoop mode or MapReduce mode. Now let's close this terminal and open a new one, and let's begin executing Hadoop in MapReduce mode. As discussed before, Apache Pig can be executed in both local mode and MapReduce mode. We have already executed some examples based on local mode. Now we shall execute some examples based on MapReduce mode. To do so, we will first load some local data into HDFS. So using this command, I'll be loading my local data, that is pictutorial.csv, into my HDFS, and I'll name it as Edureka in. As you can see, the command is getting deprecated and the data has been successfully loaded. Now let us use cat command and see what exactly is present in that particular data. As you can see, the command got deprecated and the data is a simple CSV file related to students that has ID, name, department, and year. Now let's start Pig in MapReduce mode. To do so, we just need to type in PIG and strike enter. There you go, we have successfully started Pig in MapReduce mode. Now let's execute some commands. So using this command, we will be loading edureka.in, that is the data, the CSV file which we have discussed before, using pig storage as comma separated file, and the schema for the data will be ID as character array, name as character array, department as character array, and year as integer array. Now let's strike an enter and see the output. There you go, the data has been successfully loaded now. Now let's use dump command to see the data what we have loaded. So there you go. The data has been successfully dumped. So this was the data which we have loaded. Now let's move further and execute a few more commands. Now we shall use for each command, and for each data present in our data file, we will generate ID, name, and department. There you go. The command got successfully executed. Now let's dump the data using dump command. So pig for each is our variable that stores the data. Now let's type in semicolon and enter. So there you go. The for each command has been successfully executed and we have generated ID, name, and department. Now we shall execute a few more examples. Now we shall use descending operator to arrange the data in the form of descending order of ID. So it's been executed. Now let's dump the data and see the output. There you go. We have successfully executed the dump command and the IDs are being arranged in the descending order now, as you can see it. Now this is how the order by descending function works. Now let's move ahead and execute one last command. As you can see here, we are using filter operation. We are going to filter the students based on their department, where department is equals to CSE. So executing this command will give us the students which are inside the department CSE. Now the command got executed. Now let's dump the data using dump command. So there you go. You can see some commands getting deprecated. Here you can see the MapReduce jobs getting executed. So there you go. You can finally see the output, which has the students that belong to the CSE department. Now, with this, we come to an end of this particular tutorial. If you have any queries regarding this tutorial, then please write to us in the comment section below. Till then, thank you and wish you all a very happy learning.
I hope you have enjoyed listening to this video. Please be kind enough to like it, and you can comment any of your doubts and queries, and we will reply them at the earliest. Do look out for more videos in our playlist and subscribe to Edureka channel to learn more. Happy learning!